Hello, beautiful Whatnuts and Humpty Dumpnuts. This is Tuesday, March 11th. That's what the day is. And it's a show called What Chaos, presented by Prize Picks. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code What Chaos and get $50 instantly when you play $5. Prize Picks. Run your game in Boston, Massachusetts. I am David Bean. I sit beside Pete Blackburn, and across the room is Sean DePaz. I'm throwing it around to Pete. Pete, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you, Sean?
I'm all right. How are you, DJ?
I am buzzing off the hockey. Last night was, let's just say it, the first day back for hockey. I know they did stuff over the weekend. Shout out Mikko Rantanen playing a couple of games. That was all exciting. No one fucking saw it. Last night was when we started doing hockey again, correct?
Yeah, I mean, we were fully well rested after the trade deadline. First night where I was like sitting down, ready to go. Slate was good. Slate retroactively, perhaps a grade change. I know it doesn't work that way.
I tried to know. I did do a late grade change during the day. Obviously, the official grade for it is A-, but once I learned that Artem Levshinov was making his debut, I bumped it up to an A. That's unofficially done on Twitter/X, which doesn't work anymore. So it officially was an A-, but we went into it knowing, it's like you see a trailer for a movie, you're like, well, that looks stupid. And then by the time you go to see it, you find out it's won all these awards and it's amazing. That's what last night was. When I sat down, I was buckled up and I saw really exciting stuff from the beginning to end as I'm texting with the friends being like, can you believe the Florida Panthers cheated? There's talk of, I saw a lot of people that I follow were talking about that they're going to they might re-engrave the cup. Because if you think about it, if the Panthers have cheaters on their team, maybe they just got to give it to somebody else. Whoever.
Well, I mean, you could scribble out Ekblad's name like they take the Heisman Trophy away.
Oh, that would be good.
That would be so demoralizing for any player who just had like their name struck through on the cup. Like, what's this guy's deal? Oh, he was juicing.
He was juicing. Aaron Ekblad, you think you know a guy. We'll talk about that later in the show, which will also contain Peter.
Let's see.
I was looking out. I want to confirm there are names crossed out in the Stanley Cup.
Are there really?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, what's his face?
Kyle Beach? No.
Brad
that would have been a
famously
doozy.
Not him. Sorry, the Brad Aldrich.
Yes, yeah. Brad Aldrich is crossed out.
Good.
Yeah,
get him out of there.
And Basil Pocklington.
What did he do?
The name of he was not on the team. He was he was the father of the former Edmonton Oilers owner, Peter Pocklington, and it was removed because, again, he didn't win the cup.
Well, I mean, his name's on the cup. Regardless of whether you cross it out, his name is on the cup. If that's user error, then his name gets to stay on the cup. But if you fuck up and you get canceled, strike through.
Yes, I mean, the strike through is, I think, more insulting. But here's a question. At what point do we get with the times and start doing laser removal? We're doing cover-ups?
No, we're sticking with tradition. That's why people love the Stanley Cup. It's full of tradition.
It's tradition. It's you win and you keep some bad company and then those people are shunned.
That's right.
What's on the show today, Pete?
I would love to know. Today on the show, we have Blad behavior. It's an Ekblad joke.
It's not good behavior.
It's not good behavior. It's Blad behavior. Are the Red Wings cooked? The Red Wings are in a tough way right now. They got goalied last night by Linus Ullmark. We'll talk about the state of the Red Wings. That was a huge game. It was a very fun game. Logan Stankoven is going to join the show. Going to talk about his trade to the Carolina Hurricanes, one of the bigger deals of deadline day. And then finally, this trash arena. There was a game last night that was significantly delayed because some bozo couldn't drive and broke a door.
I will say, not significantly by delays caused by the Zamboni door at KeyBank standards.
I was going to say, when I see that there's an issue, I mean, I famously watched that game that I think was the Celtics and Grizzlies, I want to say, or maybe it was the Nuggets, I forget. But there was a backboard issue that took like 2 hours. They were like, we just, we sized this thing up and
we have.
I was just talking this is not the first time this has happened at that arena in the past 5 years, and the other one took longer. I don't think it was not the exact same thing, but it was an issue with the Zamboni door.
There's also quite a bit of controversy surrounding the Zamboni door at Sabres games, because I remember Jeff Merrick telling me a story about the Sabres used to have a guy who would sit on the Zamboni door, and then players would dump the puck into that corner, and he would kick the door, and it would fucking rocket the puck to the front of the net. So there was a little bit of home cooking. I forget the guy's name, but he had a good name, and Jeff Merrick told that story, and it was that. I mean, that kind of rocks.
Yeah,
if you just got a designated guy who's kicking pucks through the door towards the front of the net, hell yeah, brother.
As Aaron Ekblad once said, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
That's right.
Okay, well, we will get to Aaron Ekblad in a little bit. We know that is the biggest story, but I would like to give credit to the hockey, which was so good. We do have a super chat before we kick things off. After that third Utah goal, yelled so loud, I saw God. Very good for you. The Red Wings, the Red Wings buzzer beater, their failed buzzer beater, that was probably the hockey highlight of the night last night. There was also some jumping punches. We'll get to those. But the Red Wings, who had lost 5 games in a row, were playing in a 4-point game against the Senators. Needed it. They're in a tough way right now. And who else but Lucas Raymond ties it? Empty net, buzzer beater last night. Didn't beat the buzzer. You saw zeros on the replay. Linus Ullmark did allow the goal, kind of, but Linus Ullmark otherwise was otherworldly last night. And the Senators pull off the win, 48 of 49, stopped by Ullmark. And now the Red Wings, who have lost 6 in a row, getting 0 points in the process, are now behind 3 teams for the second wild card spot. I will note they began this skid that Thursday game against the Blue Jackets. They were first. They had the first wild card spot at that point, and now they have fallen way out of it.
You see who got that game-winning goal last night for the Ottawa Senators?
Oh, I did. It was Dylan Cousins.
Dylan Cousins, baby.
Did you see that sick assist that Norris had?
Yeah, it was a pretty good night for both those guys. Josh Norris had an awesome play. Linus Ullmark, unbelievable. Stopped 48 of 49. His performance was so good, it pushed me to go to Natural Stat Trick and check to see what the Red Wings' expected goals total was in that game. 5.26. And they had 1 goal allowed. So basically 4.5 goals save above expected for Linus Ullmark last night alone. Absolute God mode for our guy.
Okay, well, do we think the Red Wings are cooked? Because they're not far out of it, but they're just kind of stuck in a group with a few other teams. Their upcoming schedule: home versus Buffalo. You never know. Sabres looked good last night. At Carolina, home versus Vegas, at Washington, at Vegas, at Utah, at Colorado, home versus Ottawa, home versus Boston. So it takes a while before they get to March 29th is when they get a little break.
They said on ESPN.
I mean, even the Bruins right now, you don't know what they are.
Yeah, maybe they have some little no one believed in us because they all traded us.
Yeah.
So
you could go middle stat mode.
I would love
that. That is a gauntlet coming up. And I mean, for the Red Wings, I think we always kind of just questioned how for real they were based off of the fact that they were getting 80% of their goals on the power play. They're just unfathomable production from the power play. They're not a bad team, but I also don't. I think that they were due for a bit of regression. And over this 6-game losing streak that they've had, 7 goals at 5-on-5.
But I love them. And did you see how they played with the empty net in the final couple minutes last night? Alex DeBrincat, who famously told us that he practices goalie at the end of practice, made a save with the empty net. What a stud. That's not a big guy for a goalie. Goalies typically are a little, we'll say longer than that. He stepped up huge. It was
girthy,
everything that we
though.
wanted. He makes a save in the final minute, and Lucas Raymond, who we love late theatrics from Lucas Raymond, they were just so late that the game was over.
Yeah. Some people say better late than never, but in that case, doesn't really count.
Better during the game.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think there's reasons to root for the Red Wings. I also think there's reasons to believe that they're probably on the outside looking in, especially with that schedule coming up. That schedule is not going to be any good. But I mean, they deserved better results than they got last night. It's just, again, they got goalied. Ullmark was so fucking good.
Yeah. The Red Wings are chasing the Montreal Canadiens.
I think they're better than the Canadiens at this point in time.
I think that they are kind of equal to the Canadiens at this point in time.
Yeah.
Like if we're power ranking it, I think that I would put the Canadiens right. Like neither team is playing well right now, but the Canadiens at least are sort of treading water. They're also behind the Rangers, who I'll just say it. I don't want the Rangers to make the playoffs. I want the Red Wings to be ahead of them. I don't want that to happen. And they're behind the Columbus Blue Jackets, to which I say, stay the fuck away from my Blue Jackets.
Yeah,
don't
that's
even
right.
think about it, boys. I know that I pretended I wanted you both to have a good time at Stadium Series. I'm always rooting for the Blue Jackets. I'm rooting for the Blue Jackets right now above 30 other teams.
The Oilers.
And even if like the Blue Jackets were to play the Oilers right now, I'd be like, you need the points more. I just want a good game.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say you'd be an asshole to root for the Oilers over the Blue Jackets in a Stanley Cup final, but you kind of be an asshole.
Yeah, I
If
thought
the Blue
about
Jackets
that.
made it to the Stanley Cup final, you know how much momentum would be behind that city.
Yeah.
You know how good the storylines would be. You know how like amped everybody would be for the Blue Jackets. You'd be such an asshole to root for the Oilers.
In fairness, 2013 Stanley Cup final, the Bruins, coming off of tragedy and a lot of deaths, were in the final, and everyone was like, Blackhawks are so much better. They're probably going to win. And that's what happened.
I mean, I feel like the most famous example of this is the 2001 World Series.
Oh, yeah.
The Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah, but that was
And quite
that
frankly,
was the Yankees, man.
yeah, that's the thing. I was still, I feel like the whole country was still rooting for the Diamondbacks. They were
I mean,
like,
I wasn't
yeah.
old enough. That's not the way it was described to me, but I was 3 years old.
Here's the thing, though, with the Blue Jackets. They don't have anything that you don't like about them.
Yeah.
A Boston team, you say, yeah, obviously.
They've had enough.
I feel for the people of Boston, but I don't want them to celebrate a championship. Fuck the Boston sports fans. And in the case of certainly Yankees fans, you're like, obviously they've been through a lot. I will always root against the Yankees. I don't remember a time when anyone was like, fuck the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Well, these people haven't had many
Actually, I do remember David Jiricek.
Yeah. I mean, there's not been many opportunities for people to really inject fuck the Columbus Blue Jackets. Definitely wouldn't be this year, though.
I'm pulling for them. But I'm pulling for the Red Wings to get through this gauntlet. I'll tell you what, if the Red Wings the Red Wings season is over if they lose to the Sabres. Can we declare that? Can they be the first team that we suck off?
No.
If they lose to the Sabres.
No.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, look at the way that last year's wild card race shaped out. Literally every team lost every game for 2 straight weeks. And then like the Capitals won 1 game and got in.
But do you think the Senators would really suck like that? Do you think
Can't rule it out.
the Devils could plummet out of the picture? Do you think I don't know. And again,
I think all of those teams are capable of just falling off a cliff.
okay, that as it may, you still have to add like 4 more teams for that to happen.
That's
though.
fair, yeah.
So based on last year, I agree. I wouldn't rule it out. But I think that if the Red Wings lose to the Sabres on, I believe it is Thursday, we have to start to look at maybe it's bye-bye time for them.
I mean, you can prematurely suck them off, but I'm not going to.
In Buffalo, meanwhile, Gene Principe took Buffalo. an open for the ages, which if you were in the States, you didn't get to see because ESPN was bogarting the game. Fortunately, our friends in Canada were all over it. Sent us the clip. Sean, give us Gene's intro.
Bills Mafia. All right, so welcome to Bills Mafia, Gene.
That was real. Gene did his own stunts. I have it on good authority. Sean, could you replay it and just get to when he crashes through the table?
Bills Mafia. All right, so welcome to Bills Mafia, Gene.
No, unbelievable editing job.
And before anyone asks, were people posting stills of that with the Edmonton Oilers a couple hours later? No. Nobody was doing that. Nobody was saying that the Oilers looked like a middle-aged man crashing through a table. Nobody was saying that. Great work from Gene. Good little hockey game. Good little hockey game. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen, unbelievable in that game. Oilers hit 1 million posts, and people were getting mad at the Oilers. I may have posted a picture of a xylophone saying the Oilers, but I feel like no one does this enough when a team is hitting 1 million posts. They're like, oh, they're so unlucky. Oh, why do they keep hitting posts? Usually it's because they're playing against a good goalie and they're trying to pick spots and they have such a fine area because the guy they're playing is a stud. UPL, Sean, you have such a freaking stud on your hands.
I don't know about that.
Yes, I do.
You shouldn't. He's very good at times. He's also very bad. He's not been good this year, generally speaking.
He showed up.
But he can't. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing that's so frustrating about him and all of the Buffalo Sabres is that they're capable of being like the best at their respective positions at any given time. And then other times they're the absolute fucking worst. I love UPL. I want him to be great, but he, much like the rest of the Buffalo Sabres, has not been wildly consistent this year.
You know who didn't hit 1 million posts last night? The Buffalo Sabres, because they weren't playing against a good goalie. Stuart Skinner was an asshole last night.
Oh, that is very true.
I disagree. He was an asshole on the
Tage
I think
goal.
it was like absolute.
He was an
dumbass
asshole on at
mode.
least 2 of the goals.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting the other one. But
Like,
yeah,
it was like basically the difference in that game.
yeah, I would agree.
I could be. I definitely think goaltending was the difference. UPL was 1 million times better than Skinner, but Oilers have a lot of shit to figure out right now. I'm not quite. I'm worried about them the way that I worry about everything in life, but like they're just not good right now. And a lot of players, I hate to say it, like all 3 of us love this guy, the way that he plays the game, the way that he thinks the game. I would love for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins to remind us that he is good at hockey because it has been
Quite a bit.
it's been a little bit. So not great for the Oilers, but it could be worse. What's that?
We did have a reminder last night from the Oilers, and it is that Jeff Skinner has the best smile in hockey.
Yes.
The Jeff Skinner tribute on the bench when they grabbed his arm, they forced him to stand up and salute the crowd. He had the biggest smile on his face. And he is just the cutest. What a cute adult man.
You showed a great stat, which was that is the first time a player has watched their own tribute video on a scoreboard that their buyout funded.
Yes, that is true.
That smile, I saw it in my feed, people posting that clip, and I was like, that's from now. Yeah, he's in an Oilers jersey. I just saw Jeff Skinner smiling and laughing on the bench, and I assumed it was an old thing because Sabres fans were posting Jeff Skinner stuff throughout the day. I didn't know that he could be. That poor guy must be fucking miserable. Like, I came here to win, and they're playing me like I'm kind of a bozo. They're not playing me at all oftentimes. And then in the bottom 6, I will say though, if they give him a little bit of run on the third line with Adam Henrique is good enough that I will relinquish my let Jeff Skinner play hockey. Jeff Skinner, Adam Henrique, and somebody else would be a not great second line on a lot of teams in the NHL. So that there is opportunity there for you to do stuff.
We got to get to the real story from this game, though, and that is the delay.
Yeah, so there was a delay, not too long. Longer than you'd like.
15 minutes, 20 minutes.
I think shorter than that.
Yeah, I only think it was only a few minutes.
Yeah, I
it
was
was
gonna
just
say
coming
like
out of
5.
intermission.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
right.
It was like a 25-minute intermission. When It could have been 18
That's why
or
it
whatever.
felt so long.
So Sean, if you could throw up the pictures, there was a door issue, and it was apparently because the Fan Zam, which is it's like a Trans Am except it's fans riding a Zamboni. It crashed into the door, so they had to fix the door. And if you know anything about KeyBank Center, it is that they love them some upgrades. So I would have to look at their cap situation.
Who are they buying out to get a door?
Do they do a like how long do they have before the ink dries on the Jason Zucker extension? Can they be like, never mind, we need a new door?
I was gonna say I don't know. I don't think they do like upgrades because they have to cut players anytime they want to do one or get rid of players anytime they do one.
But the upgrades are sick.
They're prioritizing the upgrades over players.
That is true.
What Chaos memes when I tweeted, oh great, now they're going to buy out another player to get a door.
You tweeted that? I didn't see
yes,
it.
Yeah,
Sorry for stealing your joke.
I don't know how many retweets it got, but when I sent it, I was like, there's such a small number of people who will understand this, and all of them will retweet it. And that number, I think, was like 10 people or something. Yeah. But shout out all the people who got it. You're all huge losers like me. What Chaos Memes responded, the door will be one Connor Clifton tall.
I just think I don't know how many teams across the league have the fan zam. I don't necessarily know if I love that, but maybe the Sabres can start charging for the fan zam, really funding. It's like collection in church, if collecting funds to upgrade the arena.
Yeah, I would love to see a pro team go full like college NIL, start passing around a bucket, being like donate, so we can
donate to the program.
Just donate to the program.
Calling the Sabres the program would be awesome.
Yeah, that might be the problem though. I think the problem isn't the door; it's the fan zam.
Yes,
that is more likely to do. I'm guessing there's going to be more damage from the fan zam before there's another door issue.
Yeah, probably.
But it's probably going to be a door issue that is caused by the fan zam. So we don't know. Good win for the Sabres. If you went to that game for, I think like the get-in was like $25 to see Connor McDavid and the MVP this year, Sabres heads, I bet you know ball. I bet you went to that game. Congratulations. Awesome game to see. Close throughout the night. You got to see 2 goals from Tage. Tage absolutely rocks. You got to see some kind of asshole moments. There was a door issue. Gene was jumping through tables. Good for you. Some Sabres news, though. Our friend Paul Bissonnette says...
Happy birthday.
Is it his birthday?
Today is Paul Bissonnette's birthday.
Happy birthday to the birthday boy. Biz says that Rasmus Dahlin met with Kevin Adams and said, turn it around fast or I will want out. I will remind folks that Rasmus Dahlin is in year 1 of an 8 times $11 million deal and is the captain of the Buffalo Sabres. Now, this is uncharted territory for a Sabres captain to potentially want out. So we don't have...
Too soon.
We don't really know what this would look like. But Sean, how do you feel about the reporter of great repute, Paul Bissonnette of the Spittin' Up On Yourselves podcast, saying that Rasmus Dahlin could be next in the long line of good players to leave the Sabres?
I mean, I can't say I'd blame him if it's true. I don't know, like, not because it's Biz or anything. I mean, I don't know if it's true, I guess, but...
it's his birthday, Sean.
I would want to fucking win hockey games too, man. I would be so tired of this shit. Sabres fans are tired of it. They just can't do anything about it. They can't get traded. I'm surprised more athletes don't do this. More athletes that spend their entire careers losing. I don't know, like, yeah, go fucking win. Go, like, push the issue. Make them actually give a shit. Make Terry Pegula give a shit. Maybe, like, or go win hockey games. I wouldn't want to spend my whole career as a loser.
The big question that this sort of brings to me is, now, does Lindy Ruff survive year 1? Because if you have your captain, like, not inspired by what he's seen in terms of progress in year 1 of Lindy Ruff and year 1 of this contract extension, like, does that not signal to you there's got to be some sweeping changes?
Yeah, my question was, what does turning it around fast look like?
Making the playoffs next year?
Yeah, but the big thing here, big picture, is he's not liking what he sees.
That's what. Yeah, but so like making the playoffs next year would be dandy, but he needs to feel at the beginning of the season like this is a playoff-esque.
I mean,
squad. Changing
out Lindy might be the answer, but I don't think Lindy's the problem, as I've said before. Like, Because if you're, I don't think Lindy is the reason he's at this point. Like it's the fact that like Lindy is the next in a long line of like them not being able to figure it the fuck out. Like from his perspective, I'm sure it feels like it doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter who the head coach is. They still can't win hockey games, and it feels bigger than any individual thing. Which when that is the case, I feel like you got to go to the top. You got to look at ownership and management, and that's why I feel like he's having this meeting with Kevin Adams, being like, "Look, man, you got to do your job, or I'm going to make it a lot harder to do your job, and I'm going to want out." And
I agree with you, and like I think maybe not. It's not necessarily like a shot at Lindy. It's not necessarily like a lack of confidence with Lindy in particular. Maybe it's just more like a general shot across the bow for the Sabres to say, like, listen, if you value me and you value me being the future of this franchise, please be a little bit more aggressive, be a little bit more expeditious in your pursuit of competitiveness. But I also think that, like, if you're Rasmus Dahlin and you really like what Lindy brings to the table, you would have some semblance of confidence in the group and where it's headed and the team and where it's headed. And you probably wouldn't go to management and say, like, need big changes.
But to my point, like, I feel like he's seen what this franchise has been through multiple head coaches. And so he's not blaming Lindy. He's like, something large scale, like, you are the common denominator here. You need to change something, Kevin Adams. And like, I feel like something that doesn't get talked about enough outside of like Sabre circles is that like all the same assistant coaches from last year, all of Granato's assistants. And like that to a lot of people seems like a Kevin Adams thing. Like you are you're like the common denominator there. I just, even if Lindy has, like, I'd be fine with Lindy getting fired because I don't think he was the answer to begin with, especially if you can get like a real head coach that's going to be on the market.
Sean, put yourself on camera if you would. All the assistant coaches being there, that doesn't say GM to me. That says ownership. That says cheapskates.
But you can't.
That means like we're already paying these guys. You're just gonna have to deal with these guys, and assigning a coach their assistants is almost always a bad idea.
Yeah, I agree. But like, I don't think Rasmus doesn't really have the option of going to Terry Pegula. I don't think. It seems like Terry Pegula is kind of an absentee owner. So your only option there is Kevin Adams. I
would agree with that. The Sabres have $22.4 million in cap space this offseason with Ryan McLeod and JJ Peterka and Bo Byram to re-up. So that's not a ton of cap space. What do they do in the offseason?
What do you need?
That's the thing, is that, like, I mean, I wanted like a legit right shot defenseman to play on the top pair with Dahlin, like a defenseman. But you really just need your guys to do their jobs. Like, Dahlin's
a right shot defenseman.
We have too many right shot defense or left shot defensemen in general. But
Dahlin's a left shot defenseman.
Yeah, okay.
He's playing on the right side.
Yeah, which is my problem. Okay, I thought I was going crazy.
Sorry,
no, you're good. Like, I forgot what I was saying.
You want to right shot defenseman?
Yeah, but like I know the like the solution in the room thing from Terry was mocked, but like I don't think he was that wrong. Like, I think they have a very good roster. Like we were talking about with UPL, he can be very good at times. He's just inconsistent. They have a top pair. They have like an elite defenseman. They have an elite center. Like, they have good young players. Like, obviously they need one or two pieces, but I don't know that it's a specific, like, this is a position of need type of thing. They just need, like, it's so much of it feels like culture over anything else, because this roster has been to the brink of the playoffs already.
If there were an awesome center out there, I would say, get that, and you should be good. Your options at wing are awesome. Mm-hmm. JJ Peterka, Tage Thompson, Zach Benson, who is that where he sticks? Is Zach Benson a wing long term? Like, Alex Tuck, still got it. Jason Zucker, who you just re-upped. If Jason Zucker ends up being a third liner for you next year, great.
Yep.
There just needs to, like, I was going to say, who's a veteran leader who likes the East Coast and is about to hit free agency.
Aaron Ekblad.
I was gonna say Brad Marchand, but like
Marchand.
you don't need. I don't think that Sabres need Brad Marchand, which sounds insane to say, but like you would want somebody who thinks the game the way he does.
Yeah.
His mindset, great two-way player, great leader, has done it, does not suffer fools, will put guys in their place if need be, but also wants to help guys get better. But like functionally on a roster,
yes.
I'm like, they don't need a top 6 left wing.
That's what I read the stat out yesterday. I can find it real quick. Like the number of like the teams that they have scored more 5-on-5 goals than over the last 3 years. Jay Fresh tweeted out yesterday. The Sabres have scored more 5-on-5 goals in the last 3 seasons than the Stars, Leafs, Knights, Avs, Devils, Bruins, Lightning, Panthers, Rangers, Hurricanes, Jets, Capitals, Canucks, and Kings. Those are all really good teams. Like that to me it can't happen, and B suggests that like it's not for lack of trying. Like it's not like they are playing completely dog shit hockey. And that's the thing that's most frustrating is that like they clearly have the pieces. Now, I don't think by any means this is a Stanley Cup roster, but it is undoubtedly a playoff roster. And the fact that they're not even fucking close to that is unacceptable. And I don't think you can blame anybody that's involved in the day-to-day. Like obviously the players have a share of the blame, the coaches have a share of the blame, like especially from the culture perspective. But like it's not any one individual thing because they're clearly playing good hockey.
I mean, can I say something that is going to... A lot of our offseason takes were wrong, which that just happens. There is something they did in the offseason for which all of us lampooned them. The whole hockey world did. And I say, when you think of what's the solution for the Sabres, you need to do more shit like that.
The Savoy for McLeod.
Savoy for McLeod. You honestly need to do more of that. Ryan McLeod has been really good for the Sabres.
Yeah.
And... yeah, they gave up somebody who might end up being a young player who might end up having it. But the story of the Sabres is we got young players who might end up having it. And they went for a lower ceiling, sure thing. And that is a position on their roster that is now solidified. I was going to, and this hit me because I was going to ask, of the RFAs they have coming up, which ones might they flip? And I look at McLeod and I'm like, you kind of need to do more moves like that. You know, I'm not saying like trade Bo Byram for an asshole, but do you flip another one of your young guys for something with a little more stability? Because I look at their roster and I rack my fucking brain as to why they're not better. They're not great down the middle, but other than that, they got good defensemen, they got awesome wings, and we might disagree right now, but I think they have an awesome goalie.
I mean, they might have 2 awesome goalies. Like this, and
Eventually.
Mike, all of these things are like microcosms of the problem at large. Like Devin Levi, tremendous, like the best goalie in the AHL, gets the NHL, terrible every time, and it's like they just can't find any consistency, and they just they just don't have a winning culture, and it's hard. I feel like for any of these players to show up and give it their all day in and day out when it doesn't feel like anyone from the top down really gives a shit.
I'm going to give you a very heightened version of the hypothetical that I was hinting at before. Sabres are in line for the 4th overall pick. Maybe they move up, maybe they move down. Would you trade that pick for, if there is a good center out there, would you trade the 4th overall pick to say, all right, now our roster is a little more solidified?
I mean, it really just depends on the player. It really
Elias Pettersson.
Yeah, no, I was going to say,
because that's the thing. Like everyone, like Pettersson, I feel like is that I want nothing to do with that man.
Pete, not to put you on the spot, but if you can think up some centers that could be out there, that a team would be in a position to say, we want a top 5 pick and we'll deal this guy.
In theory, I have no problem with it, especially in this draft. Like, they're not like if you get the 1st overall pick, it's different, I guess. But like if you're picking 4, 3, 4, 5, like
in this draft,
and you can get like a legitimate top 6 center, by all means do that.
Like a lot of the players that are like after 3 or 4 in this draft project ceiling wise like middle of the lineup
and
or lower.
Unless you're drafting a Connor Bedard, which you're obviously not in this draft. Like unless you're drafting somebody who's going to be on your NHL roster day one, you have no need for them right now.
I do have, by the way, a free agent sign for them.
Elias Lindholm. Like You think the Bruins
They would trade their fourth
love-
round pick, you're saying? For not the fourth overall
yes.
pick, the fourth round pick for Elias Lindholm? No, like don't stock the cupboard with those kinds of guys. I have one. Another Florida Panther. Free agent. Center.
Sam Bennett,
baby.
Yeah, I mean, I like that one a lot more. I'll say that a lot more than Elias Pettersson. Like they
I'm
definitely
just trying to give you Elias Pettersson or Elias Lindholm.
Yeah, they just
Pete
need someone
hasn't been
from winning
listening.
culture.
He thinks we're talking about the Bruins. Every team we bring in, he's like, you know who they could use? Nikita Zadorov.
Yeah, I mean, they clearly need something from like a winning culture, and they like Ryan McLeod is too young to have brought that. I think from Edmonton.
I agree.
I don't think you can really say they're like a winning culture. Like they've done a lot of losing up until last year. But
I'm giving them
Bennett
Sam
or somebody,
Bennett.
yeah, I like that a lot.
All right, so that's your solution for the Buffalo Sabres. I need to tell you about Prize Picks. It is just an incredible situation that I've got. When I watch these games, I do more than, less than on certain player things. I'll tell you what, I saw the Buffalo Sabres on the schedule for the Edmonton Oilers last night and said, ooh, it is time for Leon Draisaitl to add to his goal total. I was wrong. It happens. That's part of doing the DFS thing, but you are not wrong to enjoy it, to have a little fun in the process while you're watching the games. I say it makes it a little interesting because that's a thing that I coined. You get on there, you pull up Prize Picks. I like to do it on the app, but I will say that their website, very easy to navigate and a fantastic UX. Prize Picks also invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. Now, for me, my lineup was not perfect. It was completely wrong. I think I got everything wrong, but if it's close, you could double your money, even if one of your picks doesn't hit. And Prize Picks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. So sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. And you do that by using code WhatChaos. I say again, you use code WhatChaos, get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Today's episode also brought to you by our friends at Bauer. Bauer Hockey's sale page is incredible. Go to Bauer.com, hit that sales tab right at the top. You're going to find a wide range of discounted products, including skates, sticks, protective gear, and apparel that caters to players of all levels. You're going to find significant savings on premium hockey equipment that is known for not only its quality and its durability, but also its performance. You're going to find seasonal deals, clearance items, and awesome collabs. That's including 30% off Nexus Sink and Easton S17 sticks, up to 40% off select skates, up to 25% off select helmets, and up to 50% off apparel styles and collabs, as previously mentioned. So go to Bauer.com, hit that sales tab, and while you're there, use our free shipping code. It's FreeShipWC. It's going to get you completely free shipping sent right to your door. You love it. Bauer.com. And the sales page at the top.
Okay, as promised, we have a conversation with the great Logan Stankoven. He came on with us over the offseason to discuss what he had coming up for his rookie year. I do not think he anticipated being traded at the deadline to another contender, but he was. He is now a Carolina Hurricane. He had a nice little debut the other night. We discussed that and so many more things with him. Here is our conversation. One game in, scoring in his debut, absolute stud. The legend returns. It's Logan Stankoven of the Carolina Hurricanes. What's up, man?
Not too much. How you guys doing?
That is a bullshit lie you just said. You said not too much is up, and you have had just about the craziest few days anyone can have. Our understanding is you did not know about the trade until after the deadline passed.
Yeah, like officially, that's when I officially got the call. I'd obviously seen like my name from the insiders like putting the trade out there, but I didn't officially know like that was true until I got the call, and it was just a little bit after the deadline, but I guess that's just how it works. So
What were those hours like? Because, I mean, like we were doing a deadline show and we had speculated that you would probably be involved. So, like, did you kind of guess or were you uncomfortable until you officially got the call?
yeah, you're pretty nervous and kind of on edge. Like, so we had played Thursday night at home against Calgary, and then basically right before I was about to head to bed, I got a couple texts from buddies, and then they said, "Hey, your name's out there like all over Twitter." Sure enough, I go on there and there's my name kind of getting tossed around. And then obviously when you hear that, like I didn't have a great sleep that night, and then I wake up, still nothing in the morning, like nothing official. And then yeah, trade deadline comes around that day, and I get dished. So yeah, it was definitely a weird feeling, something that I've never experienced before.
So you didn't even get to have like the one cool minute of, oh shit, we're getting Rantanen. Like, did your mind immediately go to, because we had a minute where we were like, oh wow, they're going to be so loaded. Who do they move out? And this is a feather in your cap. Like the first thought is like Carolina's got to be like, you're not getting him unless we're getting Stankoven and other stuff. Did you have at least a short little period where you thought, hey, my team is getting Mikko Rantanen?
Honestly, not really. I think like if we go back to that Thursday night about Rantanen having interest in signing with Dallas, and then I think my name was out there right away. I believe I had seen Jordan Schmaltz on Twitter put it out there, and obviously he's got a big Twitter following, and his brother plays for Utah, so yeah, I honestly didn't really think about that. I was just like pretty nervous. I didn't know what to expect and what was gonna end up happening.
How quickly does like everything move after you officially find out? Like, do you even have time to pack bags, or what is the hours like after that?
Yeah, it was pretty quick. Like as soon as I got the phone call from people within the Hurricanes organization, I was on they had booked me a flight like 3.5 hours later. So it
Jesus.
was quickly pack up my bags. I was so nervous that day, like I didn't really eat much. So I ended up just grabbing something at the airport once I got there, but it was just pack up a couple suitcases, make sure you leave the apartment clean, and then I mean obviously I still have stuff left there, so I'm not sure what the plan is with that, but yeah, everything moved so quickly, and it almost didn't feel real for a bit, but excited to be here now.
And then you had family and friends going from Kamloops, I'm sorry, to Vancouver because the Stars were playing the Canucks. So you had a bunch of people making that trip to that game. The number is estimated at 500. Is this true?
Yeah, that's what my parents were saying. Yeah, a lot of people were making the trek down, and obviously I had helped my family, close family, and close relatives out with some tickets. So yeah, there was a lot of people and excited to come and watch me play and our team, and yeah, obviously disappointing that things didn't work out and I didn't get to see them, but it was out of my control, and I think everything happens for a reason. So like I said, just happy to be here now, and hopefully have a positive impact here.
I know
First
it's kind
question.
of yeah, it's like kind of off the point, but how do you know 500? I don't know 500 people. Did that when you found out 500 people were going to something you knew, or you like who are they? I know
A
80
lot of
people.
a lot of people are just like family friends. More my parents would know them. Obviously I did have quite a few like lots of family and lots of like close friends, but yeah, some of those people I didn't really know too well. They're more just, have been supportive of me throughout my hockey career and have kind of cheered for me, and they decided to make the trek down. So yeah, it's cool to see that many people have followed my career to this point, and a lot of those people have helped me get to where I am. So it's nice.
My big takeaway from that is that you can never get married, because I'm planning a wedding right now and my list is like 40 people. I know like 40 people, and it is so expensive. If you got 500 people showing up to your hockey games, you cannot get married, my friend. It will bankrupt you.
Yeah, no kidding.
Pete did have a question for you. Last time you were on, you and Pete bonded over your, we'll say, size situations and height. Pete has a question for you.
Well, if everything is bigger in Texas, how small are you going to be in Carolina?
That's a good question. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to answer that one, but I'm just happy to be here in Raleigh. Different vibes in Dallas. Obviously, Dallas is massive, and Raleigh's a big city too, but not quite like Dallas. So it's different vibes, but I like it so far.
So much of this is unique because I don't know if you would still be considered a top prospect, but you're a great young player. When those guys get traded at the deadline, usually it's by a contending team to a non-contending team. This is a very rare situation in which you have gone in your first full season from a cup contender to a cup contender. So is there any solace in knowing, hey, the objective doesn't really change this season?
Yeah, I'm really fortunate for that. I think, yeah, we had a great squad there in Dallas, but yeah, I go to another cup contending team, and this group seems really tight in here. They were super welcoming. I had about 5, 6 guys reach out to me from the team as soon as I got traded and kind of welcomed me, and said they couldn't wait to meet me. So it seems like a really good group here, and yeah, just it's nice to start to get to know all the guys and the staff and everyone kind of involved in the organization.
You also have the benefit of being traded for a guy who is now confirmed to not want to be in Carolina. So your arrival has to be, the welcoming has to be great. So have you experienced that from fans and everybody else? Be like, well, thank you for wanting to be here.
Yeah, I've really felt the love, I guess. Lots of people texting me, and I mean, obviously, people messaging me on Instagram too. So yeah, lots of people in my corner, which is nice. And yeah, I just wanna do the best I can here, and hopefully, yeah, have a great career here in Carolina, and solidify myself as an impact player.
I'm sure that you're exhausted and drained, but you let out such elation when you scored that power play goal. Unbelievable celebration, the flex and everything. What are you thinking in that moment? Because honestly, if I were you, I would have forgotten how to play hockey or that I had to play hockey given all that shakeup.
Yeah, it's tough at first, but at that moment you're just kind of running on adrenaline, and you're so excited to be out there. You want to have a good first impression. So yeah, it was nice to tip one in there. Jankowski, had a couple as well, so I wanted to get on the board as well, and contribute. So it was a fun night overall.
I know that you loved your time in Dallas, but how much do you want to prove them wrong?
Of course. Yeah, obviously the organization there was great to me and all my teammates, and I'm gonna miss them a lot. But it's time to move on now. I think everything kind of happens for a reason, and yeah, I just want to have a great career here. And obviously, my production wasn't where I wanted it to be in Dallas. I think I'm still really young. I just turned 22, so every day here, I'm just going to keep working and growing. And yeah, sometimes it takes a bit of time to get to where you want to go. So just going to keep working hard here.
Why 22? I mean, is it just doubling up 11, saying I'm going to be twice as
Yeah.
good, or is you just a big double numbers guy?
No, that's exactly it. There wasn't a whole lot of choices here, and I was kind of put on the spot. One of the equipment staff had phoned me and just said, "Hey, obviously, Stahl wears 11, and um, 10 is retired by Ron Francis for it within the organization." So those were kind of my two first choices. So I just actually, he had kind of said, "Hey, 22 is available. It's just double 11." I was like, "Sure, let's do it." I didn't want to put too much thought into it, so that's how I decided on that.
Did 11 mean a ton? I mean, 'cause I know you wore that in junior as well, but we're always astonished by how little players care about their numbers oftentimes, where they're like, oh, I wear that number because it was assigned to me in camp, and then I'll just have it for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I think everyone's number has a bit different meaning. Sometimes you don't really have a choice. Like if you're a younger guy in the league, you're given a number and you just want to make the show as much as possible. And you're not worried about what numbers on the back. You play for, what's on the front of the jersey. And obviously you want to be a great player as well.
I know that when we had you on over the summer, we were talking about your first experience in the Stanley Cup playoffs and how badly you want to get back there and you want to go even further. And obviously you have the opportunity to do that now, albeit against completely different teams. But at this point of the season, playoffs are close. You've been traded, to the surprise of all of us. How excited are you to get back into the postseason?
Yeah, it's the best time of the year. It's so exciting. I think the crowd here in Carolina is electric, and they're so loud and it's fun. It's fun to play in front of. So I think playoffs is a different beast. It's physical, and like you said, it's going to be against different teams that I'm not too familiar with. So yeah, we got a lot more games here to go still, but definitely something I'm keeping in the back of my mind.
We can't let anybody go who is related to the Carolina Hurricanes without asking them about their relationship with Seth Jarvis. You skated with him over the summer, I saw. What is your relationship with Seth Jarvis, and are you excited to be his teammate?
Yeah, he's quite the character, just full of energy. Obviously, the way he plays is so fun to watch, and yeah, I think just growing up, he was always a year older than me, so um, he was a great player, hard to play against. And then, yeah, skating with him in the summer a few times, got to know him a little bit there. Really nice guy. So, yeah, it was nice to come here and kind of know a guy. And we went for dinner the other night, so that was just nice. And yeah, hopefully get to know him even better now.
How would you feel if there was a Carolina-Dallas Stanley Cup final?
That'd be great. I'd love to be playing in the Cup Finals. Like I'd take that any day. So,
Well, we hope you get there, man. We're huge fans. We appreciate, I mean, you're the best for coming on with us so soon after the trade. We know that you got a crazy busy week. At least the team's at home now. So, like, will you be able to kind of find a place, or is it going to be hotel life for a minute?
I think for now it's gonna be hotel life. To be honest, I don't even know where to start. Like this is so all new to me. So, yeah, I guess just kind of wait and see how things go. And when we do have a bit of off time or an off day, yeah, maybe try and find a spot.
Awesome. Well, nothing but the absolute best going forward. Thank you so much for coming back on with us, Logan.
Thanks for having me, guys. Take care.
Logan Stankoven, the great, the mighty, the Carolina Hurricane. What a guy.
Man of 500 friends.
Man, yeah.
Crazy.
Not interested.
No, thank you.
Would not like to have that. I would also not like to have a 20-game suspension for PEDs, and that is why I am not Aaron Ekblad. I feel bad for Aaron Ekblad, who came out afterwards and said that he is shocked by it and that he took the wrong thing for a recovery.
You feel bad?
Yeah, I don't feel
That's
bad.
the
I also
Sabres
don't
team-
know if he said he was shocked by it. I think
He
that
did say that.
He did.
Did he use the
Yes.
term shocked?
But so has everybody that's ever been caught with steroids.
Right.
Shout out
Right.
Ryan Braun.
Somebody's got to know.
Well, I guess I feel bad.
Whoa.
I mean, I would feel bad if it was an actual accident, but that is just like I said, the excuse that everybody who gets caught with PEDs
Yeah,
gives. So
fair.
how am
I'm
I
just
supposed to know?
I'm too much of a humanitarian.
And it's just like you're a professional athlete. You have so many resources at your disposal. All you have to do is send like one message to a team-related person and say, "Can I take this?"
First,
And I know that hindsight's 2020, and that not everybody like thinks to do that or whatever. But like, come on.
In my experience trying to book Florida Panthers players on this show,
Nobody
communication
responds. Yeah, that's fair.
communication within the Florida Panthers is not as good as it is with some other clubs, I would say. So maybe Aaron Ekblad texted, "Hey, can I take this?" And they just didn't respond. And you're like, "Do I have the right number? What's going on?" If I texted somebody from another team, they would respond to me. What's going on here? So maybe it was that. I feel bad for Aaron Ekblad because everyone's reaction when Aaron Ekblad gets suspended for PEDs is, why aren't you better then? Then why aren't you?
That's fair reason to feel
Why
bad.
aren't you awesome?
That is a fair reason to feel bad for him. Fair enough.
This is going to be the second straight season, or I guess no, this is going to be the second time in one season, I'll say, that the Panthers have lost their leader in time on ice. Because Brandon Montour leaves in free agency. Aaron Ekblad has been playing the most per game of Panthers defensemen. I know he isn't, how you say, amazing as a player, but he's an important part of that blue line. And when they got Seth Jones, we were like, wow, gravy. As it turns out, Sean's first reaction was like, welcome back, top pairing Seth Jones. Go get him, baby. Cowboy.
Well, I mean, they're very lucky that they went out and got Seth Jones. But my big takeaway yesterday was finding out that you can use LTIR money on players who are suspended. Like Puckpedia tweeted that out, and they were like, now the Panthers have this much money in LTIR. Thank God Aaron Ekblad was suspended after the trade deadline. You imagine if they had his money
Mikko Rantanen
for the trade deadline? I'd be so pissed. That should not be. They got to rework that.
That is very dumb.
Like if you have one of your main players or any one of your players who gets suspended for PEDs, then you don't get a fucking bailout for that.
I mean, I guess devil's advocate in the situation would be that like team didn't do anything.
They employ the player who cheats.
Yeah, but like,
a player could theoretically cheat to help their team.
Right.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah,
I guess that's why they're cheating in the first place. They're trying to help themselves and then also help the team. But also, the team could slip the player some PEDs if they want to get rid of his contract. Like the Blackhawks traded Seth Jones after 2 years of just trying to slip him performance-enhancing drugs. Jacob Trouba needed like water testers in New York. They were like, drink this. It's drugs. Get him suspended. Give us the LTIR money.
Kelly asks, did we do the numbers crunch on how many games there are left in the season?
18. He's going to miss the final 18 games of the regular season and then the first 2 games of the playoffs.
Let me ask this. Does that benefit him in the sense that he is suspended without pay and he's only going to miss 18 paychecks?
Right, because the playoffs is...
You don't get paid for the playoffs.
You do, but not. I need to look that up. Yeah,
I mean, it could benefit him.
I mean, I feel like it benefits him in the sense that like he's not injured, so he just gets 18 games off and then comes back for the playoffs
fresh as a daisy.
Like, I mean, obviously they have Tkachuk and Marchand, but like they're coming back from injury, so they're not really resting per se.
Yeah, they're going to have their time on ice leader well rested for the playoffs.
Like kind of like for a team that's pretty firmly in a playoff spot, like they are, worst things could happen.
Maybe he took the substance.
Okay, so only entry-level contract guys and players 35 and up can get like bonuses and stuff during the playoffs. I thought that there was like if you reach the cup final that there's some sort of money, but I'm seemingly wrong on that. It is going to cost him money because now, unless he makes a deep run, people are going to... This guy's a free agent. And he was due to have outpriced himself from the Panthers, or the Panthers were seemingly ready to move on from him when they traded for Seth Jones. Now maybe he's going to be cheaper because nobody wants a drug user on their team. Florida Panthers seem just like the team that would be like, no, that's fine. Come on.
Yeah,
I mean, a pay cut.
I don't know. I think that teams are still going to want him. Teams still want players for doing worse than whatever Aaron Ekblad did.
He can come to Buffalo with Sam Bennett.
I don't love Aaron Ekblad as a player.
I mean, not for the role in which he is fulfilling in Florida, but like as like a second pairing guy, 4 or 5.
Yeah. No, yeah. Fine as a number 4 defenseman. Yeah. In other Panthers news, Brad Marchand has taken his first twirl as a Bruin. He was on the ice in Boston at morning skate. That is from our dear friend Fluto Shinzawa. Don't he look beautiful? What an absolute stud. He did do line rushes. He is still week to week. He is not playing, but he skated on a line with Sasha Barkov and Carter Verhaeghe, and I must say, I did not even consider the possibility of Marchand playing with Barkov. That would be perfect. A guy who spent his entire career basically playing with Patrice Bergeron, moving on to Alexander Barkov. That line will be amazing. You could put anybody else on the other side, and it would rock. Panthers have studs, though, across their roster. So whoever the anybody else is going to be another awesome player. Imagine doing like a Marchand, Barkov, Reinhart. Holy moly. And then you can keep Kachuk and Bennett together. Yay.
The Barkov Bergeron comparisons already make me want to put my head through a wall. So the fact that they could both have Marchand on their wing, it's just kill me now.
Sean was saying he wants the Sabres to sign Jonathan Toews. So maybe Marchand can ramp back up late in the regular season with another Bergeron. And then for the playoffs, be ready to go with like the new and improved Bergeron.
Jonathan Toews is serious about a comeback, apparently.
Somebody like Blackhawks. Why not? For the vibes.
Another thing that we
Vibes
got
are pretty good in Chicago right now, according to Nick Foligno.
Another thing that we got on Marchand is Paul Bissonnette saying the Bruins offer was 3 years times $6.3 million. And Brad Marchand wanted 3 times $7.5 million. A lot of people in Boston have been operating the last few days as though the Bruins were offering like $4 or $5 million and that Brad Marchand should have taken it. So upon learning yesterday, when Elliott did clarify that when he said didn't want to take a pay cut or the Bruins weren't offering a pay cut, that it was not a pay cut from the AAV, not from like what the market value is or whatever. He was saying the Bruins offer was at least $6.125 million, which is his current AAV. Biz says that it's $6.3 million. That shocks a lot of people. I will remind folks, and I don't even know if we ended up hitting this much, but it was in my notes when we were preparing for our last conversation with Brad Marchand, that his market value per AFP Analytics is 3 times $7.79 million. It's tough to wrap your head around because you think of what he's been making and you forget that $6.125 million has been a woeful underpayment this entire time. And I put that out there on Twitter. Somebody responded, well, you have to factor in that he's going to be 37 years old. That market value does factor that in because if a guy were hitting free agency at, let's say, 27 years old, having scored 21 goals in 61 games and 29 goals the year before, and is a proven 39 goal scorer in the NHL, you could bet they'd be worth a lot more than $7.79 million. So it is a bit of a shock to see the number that high because he's never made it in his career. But when I hear of the compromise that he was seeking, I'm wondering if he was like, hey, let's do 3 times 7. And that was the number that Don Sweeney was like, Brad, respectfully, go fuck yourself. We're not doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like anything above 6.3 was something that Don Sweeney said, respectfully, go fuck yourself. We're not doing it. You're taking 6.3 or you're taking nothing. And like, I disagree with that. I would do like go up to 6.5, go up to 6.7.
I said 67
yesterday,
though.
Huh?
He doesn't wear 67 though.
He could
consider that. True.
Change his number.
True.
I will say
wear 99. Unretire.
I will say I said yesterday 3.7 is the highest I would go, or 3 by 7 is the highest I would go. I would stand by that. But 3.7, I have to assume would get it done if he was at 7.5 and was willing to move off his ask. Get him at 3.7. I think that's
3 times
fair.
7,
Sorry. Yes. And I get what you're saying, the market value, the projected market value. Does that take into account that he's had several hip surgeries?
It did before this one, and we'll see what this injury is. Like, if it affects him in the postseason. Because if he plays well in the postseason, I think that he definitely gets 3 times $7 million. Respectfully to our dear friend Nick Foligno, he got 2 times 4.5.
Yeah, but from
like years ago.
From a team.
Or a year ago.
From a team that had nobody to pay.
Yeah, fair. But I think that if he shows well, and really if he just proves himself healthy in the postseason, he'll get 3 times $7 million. The point
Correct.
I want to make, though, in defense of Don Sweeney and the Bruins, is I'm okay with them saying, we don't want to give you this, and we're not going to give you this. That's fine. Similar to how I felt about them, A, trading Brad Marchand, and B, specifically trading Brandon Carlo, because Carlo was the big indicator for me of if you move off this guy, a guy with another year on his deal at $4.1 million, who is 28 years old, who is in his prime. If you trade him, it indicates to me that you're shaping up for more a rebuild than a retool. And if that is where they are, they don't need to sign a 36-year-old guy for $7 million per. I will just caution, your team's not going to be very good. So I'm not besmirching the Bruins for not signing him to that. I besmirch them if they were nickel and diming him, if their plan was to keep him and they won't give him close to his ask, then I say, okay, well, that's just kind of shitty business, bad way to treat your captain.
Well,
but if they're just like, we're not going to pay a guy because we think we're going to suck for a little bit, okay, your funeral.
But also, like, isn't that the kind of a reason to pay him? Like, if you're planning on sucking for a little bit, then who else are you going to pay?
Don't you want guys on your team at least that even if your team's going to stink, that people are going to want to come see? And somebody who I will note, I've noted this at every turn with this guy, performs when he does not have a number one center. Because obviously he was great with Patrice Bergeron, but he's still been really good without Patrice Bergeron.
Yeah,
and respectfully to all the guys that the Charlie Coyles and the Elias Lindholm and the Pavel Zakas of the world, he's not playing with a first-line center or even, let's say, a second-line center.
Yeah, the only way that I would see that making sense is if they said, we don't want good players because we are actively tanking. And I don't think that the Bruins are operating in that mindset right now. And I get what you're saying. Like, if they don't want to pay him, whatever, that's fine. But to me, what really bothers me is the unwillingness to move off of the number that they brought into that meeting with Marchand in the days leading up to it. That's the part that burns my ass more than anything.
So do you give credence to my fear when I first heard this yesterday, which was, oh no, this is them overreacting to the Swayman thing?
Maybe. And it's something, a point that somebody brought up yesterday after the show to me was, think about who Marchand was talking about in his comments about Boston.
Oh, right. That he only mentioned Neely once.
Only mentioned Neely, had a ton of great things to say.
Or so, no, he mentioned Neely. He said, I mentioned this to Neely and Sweeney's, but the specific credit that he gave to that organization was to Sweeney.
He went on a whole long, like, profuse proclamation about how much he loves Don Sweeney and how good Don Sweeney is at the job. Didn't really say anything about Cam Neely. Not too much, and at least not to the proportions that he was praising Don Sweeney. And Neely was the guy who went to the press conference when they were talking about Swayman and had the hair across his ass and was like, blah, 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 60, whatever, however many million reasons, and really seemed to be like really pissed at Jeremy Swayman. So if you want to go to your conspiracy theory board, maybe Neely is the guy who's being a real dickhead to these players and trying to drive a hard bargain.
That would be, well, I mean, we'll have to have Neely on the show. He would definitely want to come on. I think Neely would come on before Sweeney would. Should we request?
Probably.
Should I request Sweeney right now?
I'm sure that'll go well.
If
I don't know. I don't think either one of them were coming on.
I'll tell you what, better relationship with Neely right now than with Sweeney, I would say.
Yeah.
You specifically?
Yes. Don Sweeney hates DJ.
No, I know. I was just making
sure. I will say, like, Don Sweeney doesn't seem to like many people.
Yeah. And also, Don Sweeney should hate me. But like,
if he should lose his job.
Neely hated me for a minute. We were doing stuff with them early last season, though, and saw Neely, and he was like, "Oh, hey, I haven't seen you in a while." I was like, "Oh, you ever met Pete? We're starting the show," and he was like, "Oh, tell us about it." He was like,
"Yeah, he was interested." Yeah,
and I was like, "Wow, come on the show, King." So we're a Cam Neely show right now.
All I'm saying is, if you just connect some dots, there could be indication that Cam Neely is the tough one in the room.
People in the chat are saying that the Bruins are planning to tank for Connor McKenna next year. I kind of want to see Pete watch a tanking Bruins team with Connor McKenna potentially the light at the end of the tunnel. That would be really interesting to me.
I would say that's
It's Gavin McKenna.
watching a tanking team is far more interesting
I
than
say?
watching.
Connor McKenna.
Yeah.
Every hockey player is named Connor.
Yes.
Watching
and there is a
hockey
Connor
team.
McKenna. He was like a Canadians radio guy.
Yeah, I know Connor. Yeah.
I was watching a taking team could sometimes be better than watching a team in the like a middling team that is just
The most fun
average.
I had
100%. Especially when Gavin McKenna's on the table,
Yeah.
he looks unbelievable. If the Bruins are going to tank, do it next year.
Yeah.
one of the most fun experiences I had as a sports fan was watching the 2006-7 Celtics, which was a team that was very clearly tanking for Greg Oden. They said Kevin Durant. I don't know if I believe them. And it was so fun. You just watch a bunch of young guys play. Like bad players score 30 points. You lose every game and you think we're getting this stud. Amazing. Then you lose the lottery and that's how you end up with Jeff Green.
We do have an important update from Mike Harrington.
We have even more actually.
Ooh.
We have the Sabres put out the full quote from Rasmus Dahlin.
All right, give us the full quote.
Strongly refuted. Harrington said that he was angry.
Angrily denied.
But he strongly refuted the report. The full quote is, I don't know, obviously talking about Paul Bissonnette. He said, I don't know what he's talking about. I have never said I want out of here. I'm not happy with where we're at. I don't want to lose. We have to get better. I never said I want out of here. I thought that was pretty clear. That bugs me, actually. I get pissed off by that. I haven't even mentioned the word leave. That's just how it is. Sabres captain Rasmus Dahlin.
Do we need to have the Brad Marchand drop of the fact that he's going to have a job after this is insane. Whenever there's a media report that is refuted, I will say, if I'm Paul Bissonnette, I feel pretty good about my report after that because he's not saying that he went in there and demanded a trade. He said, turn this around or I'm going to want to leave. And maybe he didn't use the word leave specifically, and maybe that was a little lost in a game of telephone or dots were connected by Biz.
I mean,
sensationalizing a report.
I'm guessing the captain just had a meeting with the GM, which doesn't sound that crazy. And of course he's not happy. Like I can see, I don't think Biz is like making anything up or like purposely trying to like hyperbolize or sensationalize or anything.
I will
like,
say that Biz could do that if he wanted to.
Yeah.
And I think that he does not.
But I think that there's a high likelihood that the captain had a meeting where he probably was not happy. And it, like you said, through a game of telephone eventually became he wants out, because I think it's probably similar to like a less than, but like similar to Brady Tkachuk, where it's just like everybody kind of wants that guy, and there's probably a lot of people who want him to want out, but he probably doesn't really want out. He wants to win, but he doesn't necessarily want out of Buffalo.
All I heard there was Rasmus Dahlin for Brady Tkachuk.
This is why Elliott's the GOAT, because Elliott will choose his words extremely carefully and rarely ever pisses off anybody. Elliott could report this, and he would choose all the right words.
Yeah, not fair though. Biz doesn't have as many words.
That's definitely true.
That's not fair. When Elliott's picking his
Elliott
words,
hasn't had to fight a bunch of NHLers over the course of his life.
When Elliott's choosing his words, it's like the MDR screen in Severance. There's just so many, and he's like going through them. Biz,
and it's Biz's birthday. He gets to say whatever he wants.
Yeah. Happy birthday to the birthday Biz, quite frankly. So where were we? Oh, we were doing Bruins and Brad Marchand and everything, but I think that's a nice place to wrap that up. Let's quickly hit that Nick Foligno, after Artem Levshinov's debut, in which he played, I believe, 22 minutes and 5 seconds.
And kind of rocked.
3 shots on goal, -1. Fuck that, though. Who cares? And the Blackhawks played a good game against the Avalanche. They lose 3-0. Of course they lost 3-0. Were they shut out? You bet your bippy. But 0-0 through 1, 0-0 through 2, 3 goals in the third. Who cares? Whatever. But people have noted in our chat, in the comments or whatever, that things are looking up in Chicago since they moved on from Seth Jones. Obviously, the Spencer Knight get has looked good so far. Here is, do we have it, Sean? Nick Foligno, after, we don't have it. Nick Foligno, after the game, said that things are looking up, some distractions are gone, and Pete, you connect which dots?
I mean, those are easy dots to connect.
That's his friend.
Seth Jones.
That's his friend. That's his Columbus Blue Jackets buddy.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you are outside that room, away from that organization. You look at the Seth Jones trade, and you look at how the Blackhawks have played afterwards, and you're like, oh, Whoa, they've played better.
As I said to you off the air, we can't rule out that he is talking about noted great teammate Peter Mrazek. Maybe he was the problem.
Oh, this is a Mrazek thing.
Yes, Mrazek, who
We do know.
was awesome as soon as they acquired another goalie. He was like, I will do anything for these guys. Maybe he was a problem.
It could be Taylor Hall too. Plenty of options here, but I think everybody made the immediate connection to Seth Jones, which, like, I don't know. People complain about how often we talk about vibes when it comes to teams on this podcast. Vibes are like 80% of hockey success.
I mean,
yeah.
We're not the only ones that talked about it, but like all year, the Blackhawks versus the Sharks.
Yeah.
Both dog shit teams. One seems way better than the other.
Yeah, I mean, the Sharks still fucking suck. It's just they're having
but
more fun there. But like the Washington Capitals, how much have we heard about like how unbelievable their locker room is this year?
I mean, obviously the Blue Jackets.
And it's definitely like one hand feeding the other, where it's like if you're winning a ton, it probably helps the vibes. But if you have great vibes, it probably helps the winning. I don't know. It's very funny to me that Nick Foligno's comments came after a 3-0 loss. Where it's like, yeah, we're playing great. This room's awesome.
I mean, I said it. If you watch the Blackhawks broadcast, would have absolutely no idea that they lost. Like, it was all
Good
vibes
job.
are great. Spencer Knight rocks. Lev Shinov was awesome. Like, things are looking up.
You know what that broadcast is missing? Jay Zawoski.
Oh yeah,
Just fucking yell like
I wanted to
in
watch
a different room with a mic. He can't hear what the play-by-play is doing. Play-by-play can't hear what he's doing, and he's just going. And they're both going at the same time, and it is sunshines and rainbows and Jay yelling, how many times do I got to watch this shit?
I wanted to watch the CHGO Blackhawks post-game show, but I flipped straight to Utah-Toronto.
good choice. Great
Which
game.
rocked. Yeah, but I feel like Jay would have been good vibes last night.
Oh, yeah. We didn't talk about, by the way, the flying punch from Simone Benoit, which, credit to me, when I saw a tweet, I did watch this game, but I missed this fight. Someone said there was a Superman punch. I don't know how, but my head knew what that meant. It was flying and punching. Is that a wrestling thing?
It's
just like
it's an
general
MMA, combat sport thing.
But yes, you see on your dear boy, Michael Kesselring,
I know.
a flying punch. Good game, by the way.
Oh,
The
great
Utah
game.
Hockey Club will not go away. They fall down 3-0 in this game, come back. It's neck and neck, goes to a shootout.
That was the turning point.
Leafs win.
Because Benoit tried to throw a Superman punch, basically missed, and then got his ass kicked by Michael Kesselring, and then the Utah Hockey Club rip off 3 straight goals, forced overtime.
Kesselring is like the source of their vibes. I think I mentioned it to you the other day. I think they fucking love that guy. He doesn't play all that much, but they fucking love him.
I love so many guys on that
And
roster.
The vibes in Utah are so awesome. The fans rock. Like that game was just playoff atmosphere for a team that's never seen the playoffs.
Dude, I tweeted during the game because I have a tough time watching Utah Hockey Club home games on TV because I'm fucking mad that I'm not there.
Yeah, it's such a mix, especially as a Coyotes guy, like such mixed feelings. I feel like Coyotes fans could have produced this if given the opportunity, but they weren't, and now we are where we are, and Utah fans have taken it and run with it.
Okay, Utah is within striking distance
Oh,
of
yeah.
a playoff spot. They are 5th in the wild card. They are behind the Blues, the Canucks, and the Flames. Let's see what their upcoming.
Honestly, like I get that I'm biased. I want to see Utah, like, take away the fans and like the new teamness of it all. Just the roster and the way that they play hockey. Like, I want to see them so much more than I want to see any of those teams that you just mentioned.
Okay, they've got an interesting upcoming schedule. They have the Ducks at home on Wednesday. Huge game. We'll be watching. They've got the Kraken in Seattle on Friday. Sunday, the Canucks. That's a 4-point game, boys.
Yeah.
That is a big one. Then they've got the Oilers in Edmonton on Tuesday. Home versus Buffalo. Home versus Tampa. Home versus Detroit. Their remaining schedule is not easy as I look at it, but
out of all those games you just mentioned, though, I see like they should lose to the Oilers, they should lose to the Lightning. Other than that, they can win all of those games.
get Utah in.
They're going in the right direction, and like they were so much fun to watch last night. They've been so much fun to watch at so many points in this year. And I was telling Sean, I was like, that overtime was a lot of fun because like at every point during that overtime, you had like one of Logan Cooley, Clayton Keller, Dylan Gunther, Mikhail Sergachev. Like they had guys, and they had the puck for like most of that overtime period.
And Veggie was going crazy.
Yeah.
Like it was the whole game rocked. And like I was saying to you off the air, like they're not like a lot of these. They're not like the Canucks or the Blues. Like the teams that they're fighting for in the wild card, who are kind of feel like they're middling. Canucks are a slightly different situation, but they kind of feel like they're middling, like just hanging on to hope. The Utah Hockey Club is moving in the right direction. So even if it doesn't happen this year, like you know that like next year the expectation should be the playoffs.
Yeah, this year is kind of like found money for that team.
Yeah.
This show's gone kind of long, but F it. Let's go a little longer because I do want to squeeze in one more topic, which is that Alexander Ovechkin has said, and there's some translation going on here, and it is with Google Translate, so it could be wrong-ish, but Alexander Ovechkin has said in an interview with Sport Express's Igor Rabiner last week that he is unlikely to re-sign with the Capitals at the end of his current contract, which expires at the end of next season. Maybe not a huge shock. He is employed by Moscow Dynamo Dynamo Moscow of the KHL, and maybe he will go there and finish his career back home in Russia. But this is the exchange from Rabiner. A Washington fan told me the other day before entering the arena that he dreams of you breaking the record and scoring your 900th goal, signing a new contract with Washington, and going for 1,000. Is that possible? Rabiner asked, as translated via Google Translate. I don't think so, Ovechkin replied. Ovechkin is going to be 40 next year. He said, we'll see. Most likely yes to Dynamo. If health allows, it's hard to plan for such a long term now. Obviously, that is a little jumbly with the translation, but we see players do this where they play a fullish NHL career and they go home and they wrap up wherever they're from. Are we ready to be done with Ovechkin? Once he hits 895, are we going to be like, cool, good for you, do whatever you want? Or do you want to see some real Twilight Ovechkin? Because if there's anything we're learning this season, it's that if he wants, he can still do it.
Yeah, I want to see him go as long as he can go, like at this pace.
You're going to have the record. Like, make the record as crazy as you can do it.
Right. Make sure nobody else gets it.
Yeah. At some point, man, I think you kind of owe me. This is really selfish, but
me personally, you owe DJ personally.
Yes. No. Can I say respectfully, I was an NBC Sports employee for a 4-year stretch where the only idea that company had hockey-wise was Alexander Ovechkin is scoring goals and chasing Gretzky. Folks, no one fucking cares until he's close. I had to put up with a lot of advertisements seeing all that stuff. Get the record and make it awesome.
I have a question about the Capitals in general. Is there any concern that when they're going to fall off when he gets this record? Because like I was thinking about it the other day, where it's just like it seems like that's kind of driving the whole bus
definitely.
there.
No, I think it's one hand feeding the other again.
And
but like
I think
once he gets it, once
he gets it, they're going to be like right on the precipice of the playoffs as potentially a number 1 seed. Like they're going for that whole thing.
Once he gets it, though, are they? Have they? I'm going to paint a picture. If they shot their wad, so to speak.
Yeah, like it kind of feels like
will they have busted, and will they lie down and like check their phone?
The post record clarity.
Are they going to go for a smoke?
Yeah,
I think.
Or is the NHL going to want to talk?
No, Jesus. The worst case scenario is like he's 1 or 2 short, like at the regular season's end. Then it's going to be a massive letdown, and you're going to be riding a letdown into the playoffs.
Yeah,
that would be the worst. And then you have to come back next year, and then we're talking about like him doing it in like the first week of the season. Horrible, gross. You got to make sure that he gets it this year.
Although in that situation, you guarantee him that like the first 5 Washington games are nationally televised.
Who gives a fuck?
I will say, if he does what he's doing this year, and then next year, with the record already sewn up, if the Capitals are good again, we could be looking at back-to-back years of Jack Adams, Spencer Carberry.
True.
Because like this is where Spencer Carberry's mettle will really be tested. And he was great down the stretch last year. He's been awesome this year. But if once this band of ragtag weirdos has excuse to like be like, okay, well, now it's time to be failures again, and they're good. That's the coach. That's coaching. Spencer Carberry, get that Gretzky record, brother.
100%. I agree with that. Also, if I was Ovechkin and the NHL wanted me to keep playing beyond this contract, like if the NHL was like, no, you got to keep going for it, I would make a deal with the NHL at a negotiating table. I'd be like, I will come back. I will sign another contract if you give me my fucking goals during like the lockout years. Give me 40 goals for each lockout year.
No, I would show up and be like, let me wear a tinted visor and tuck my jersey, which I guess he kind of does anyways.
I was gonna say
Everybody's doing the visors now.
But I want like color, like mirror visor, OV, and like full blown jersey tuck. Be like, I own you guys.
Why you say no about giving him his lockout years?
because I don't want there to be a single hole that can be poked in this record.
100%. I don't want Mickey Mouse goals.
Yeah, I don't want, dude, do you know how often when I go to Celtics games, I sit in section 313 and I have a 1957 NBA champions banner staring me right in the face. And all I can fucking see is my friend Dan, who is a Lakers fan, who likes that banner more than I do as a Celtics fan because he's like, that's what your banners look like. They say fucking 1957 on them.
Yep.
Fake ass wins. Playing against white guys with knee pads named Buzz, your team did not win. I don't want anyone doing that with the greatest goal scorer to ever live, Alexander Ovechkin.
And it's part of the story. Like, you'd be like, he did, like, he has the record, then you get to tell your kids, he did that with lockouts and COVID.
That's his, if you take away all his goals, Wayne Gretzky still has the most points thing.
It's like, if you gave Ovi a full career, this record's not even close.
We should call that a record boost. When someone has a record and there's a fun fact you can tell about it that lets people imagine maybe he could have done even more. So he's going to have the goals record with that boost pack. I would rather that than any sort of higher number and asterisk.
And then when we're like 60, we get to be haters when like somebody else is pushing on the record. They'd be like, well,
yeah, how many lockouts did he play?
Yeah, if Ovi got to play a full career, he wouldn't even be close. And that's fun too.
Okay, we have gone long. Sean's been yapping, quite frankly.
Yeah,
that's
Sean,
why.
shut the fuck up, Sean.
No, we
got a show to do.
Yeah,
we got a show to end here.
I was gonna say,
Sean
we have a show
keeps
to
showing
do.
us memes during the show. We're like, dude,
that's what I do behind the Mac. I hold my computer up and show them pictures, and they have to bust through it.
I'll tell you what, that would be good for vibes. we should get a second producer who doesn't do anything, and they're just on their phone. And that memes. Sean just held up his Twitter feed.
I just showed up a Twitter post from DNVR Rapid saying Zach Steffen is headed back to the U.S. men's national team.
Damn.
Very cool.
Fun
okay,
fact.
let's do a slate grade. A lot of games tonight. We're doing 10 plus, right? We got 8. We got 11. Good math from me. Starting off with Panthers at Bruins, 7 p.m. That is, of course, I'm not going to call it a revenge game because he's not playing. It's a Brad Marchand Bowl. How do we feel about that, folks?
It's
not a Brad Marchand Bowl.
He has not played a game.
Fair.
He has not played a game in a Florida Panthers jersey. It is not a Brad Marchand
It's
Bowl.
a Byron Bitts Bowl, then.
That's right.
Or it is a Sean Thornton Bowl. It is a Dennis Seidenberg Bowl. It is a Brad Boys Bowl. There is lot to like. There's lots to like there. Blue Jackets at Devils at 7 p.m. I love going with this one. It's a David Clarkson Bowl.
It's a Damon Severson revenge game.
And how about the Senators at Flyers at 7 p.m. in a Claude Giroux Bowl?
Revenge game.
It is, but
no, it's not. It's not. He played for the Florida Panthers in between.
Oh, yes, that's right.
One of 3 captains that the Florida Panthers have traded for in the last 4 years.
Yep. That would be Claude Giroux, Brad Marchand, Kyle Okposo.
Yes.
That's right.
Golden Knights at Penguins, 7 p.m. Eastern. This is a Riley Smith revenge game.
Oh, that's a Phil Kessel Bowl.
Phil Kessel Bowl.
It's not a Riley Smith revenge game because Riley Smith last played for the New York Rangers.
Oh, my God. That's right.
Yeah.
Ew.
Like 4 days ago.
Yeah, I'm just so out on the Rangers. Missed the playoffs.
To be fair, it's very forgettable.
And I can say that because Rangers fans who like the show seemingly don't mind that we don't hate the Rangers, but like
we hate part of them.
Generally, yeah, I hate part of them. Lightning at the Hurricanes. That's a Jake Gensel revenge game. How about that? That's at 7:30 p.m. Avalanche at Wild at 8 p.m. That's going to be a Zach Parise Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Rangers at the Jets at 8 p.m. That's an easy one. That's a Jacob Trouba Bowl. You've got the Canadiens at the Canucks at 10 p.m. Eastern. That is going to be a Yaroslav Halak Bowl.
Ooh,
Capitals
nice.
at Ducks, 10 p.m. Kevin Shattenkirk Bowl. also a Sergei Fedorov Bowl, I believe. Islanders at Kings, 10:30 p.m. That is going to be a Ray Ferraro Bowl. Get off the ice.
I can't look at the Islanders logo now and not it's not a circle.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's a fat
wider.
boy.
It's wider
fat
than
boy.
boys long.
Yeah.
It's a girthy logo.
Predators at Sharks tucking us in at 10:30 p.m. I'm going to do this one just to politely inform the chat. I saw chat was doing some puns, and someone wrote Luke Goonin, and then a bunch of people were saying that one's gold. That's so good. In the interest of informing, that does not work because his name is Luke Cunnin. So then you would say Gunnin, and only one of us, Pete, likes guns here.
I feel like we don't even need to. If it's Cunnin,
Luke Cumming.
there you go.
Yeah, Luke Cummin. But then that looks like Luke Cumin, and then we have the same issue all over again. But that's a Luke Cunnin Bowl.
That's also a Mikkel Granlund Bowl.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is a Mikhail Granlund. Yeah, just bowl.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. Last night was an A, and we fucked up by calling it an A-, and it ended up being an A. This has some good ones. It has 3 great games, I would say. Blue Jackets at Devils, I am absolutely watching. Lightning at Hurricanes, I'm absolutely watching, but that's at 7:30 p.m. And then Avalanche at Wild, I will say I'm keeping an eye on. That is 3 good games within an hour of each other. The structure and the scheduling, having 2 10:30 games is good, but neither of those games are great. Predators at Sharks will be fun to watch. I guess there's maybe some reason if you want to see the new look Bruins to keep an eye on Panthers at Bruins, but that definitely doesn't have the juice that it would have a couple of weeks ago.
You got the Marchand tribute.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Yeah.
And that's the question. Do you think they do a Marchand tribute? He's going to be there in the press box.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to get
you get a
shot of him. Yeah, I feel like you got to, because otherwise you're going to do it in the playoffs. Or you're going to wait all the way until next year.
You're not getting it in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, tribute videos in playoffs would be crazy behavior. Fuck that guy. This is, and I'm not just saying this, Pete was very excited about the slate this morning. I had not looked at the slate, and then I looked at it, and I was like, maybe it was overhyped for me. I got this one at an A-. I'm sorry, Pete.
I think it's a high A-.
Okay,
That's
yeah, I'll
fine.
give you a high A-.
I like the structure. I like several games, but it lacks on the back end to push it to an A.
Blue Jackets at Devils, I'm going to love.
We famously have seen that in person,
That's right.
and that was the most chaotic game of all time. We got
That was last year, though.
yeah, but I'm saying we
Akira
got
Schmid
Akira
not knowing
Schmid
how to
playing
play
it,
hockey.
past
Johnny
the red
Gaudreau
line.
not knowing how to play hockey. It was a lot of,
and
what are we doing here, boys?
and
That's
Hughes being an asshole to Pete specifically.
Oh, that's
three
right.
goals on 3 shots.
Thanks for that reminder.
And it was the night that when we got, Sean and I are famously souvenir cup heads. When we went to get the souvenir cups, they were like, last game was Stinger. Today is Johnny Gaudreau. And we were like, fine. And now that cup is, I love that cup so much. When I don't have a Mountain Valley water bottle here, I always have a Johnny Gaudreau cup here. So
Very true.
shout out the great Johnny Gaudreau. And shout out everybody for hanging during this long show, but it needed to be long. Logan Stankoven was in the mix. That guy's a stud. The slate last night was amazing. You got things potentially falling apart in Buffalo. We got a live reaction to a topic during the show. And Gene jumping through tables. What more could you want?
You could
and
want-
Utah talk.
You could want a like or two.
Oh,
You could want a like or two. We want
Or
likes
300.
all the time.
how are you going to ask for that?
Hammer.
He's not going to ask.
I'm not.
He's going to
Good
demand.
cop, bad cop.
Oh, right.
Bad cop says, give me that fucking like. Put your hands up and give us that like.
Don't
Guys,
tase me, bro.
They could be second screening us. Maybe they just didn't, they haven't been giving it their full attention, so they haven't had the opportunity to do it yet. Maybe they were planning on it and they just kind of slipped their mind.
Well, now I'm telling you. Give us the like.
That's
It's the thumbs up button right below the video player.
That wasn't bad cop enough. I went very
Show
good.
me your hands.
Yeah,
It was
there
very. It's like just because you didn't know your registration was expired doesn't mean you can't. You get away with it.
Show me your fucking hands, and they better have a thumbs up on them. Right below the video player, there's a symbol that shows a hand with a thumbs up. smash it as hard as you can. And if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, do that as well because I fucking told you to. Okay, DJ, you take it away.
Great job, guys. I hope that he's just running a little hot today. He did a 24-hour show recently. Kind of crazy.
Can't relate.
Shout out Sportsnet, by the way. See Sportsnet sucking their own dick for doing
respectfully,
a short trade show.
Congratulations for doing an abbreviated trade show.
I was thinking about that the other
Hope
day.
you enjoyed your 3-hour nap, Elliot Friedman. You know who wasn't snoozing?
I will say
We were dressed as
these guys.
dinosaurs while you were sleeping.
Elliot has not been asking for, and he's been very gracious in accepting all the attaboys for doing all that work. And I gave him one. I did.
Same.
I gave him a little king crown emoji because he's amazing and great job. Was Chris Johnson up earlier than him? Who's to say? Me.
But he went to bed earlier.
That's
I feel like we got to keep time on ice stats.
Yes,
like
yes.
It's more about how much of the
That's true.
stream you're awake
Because
for.
in CJ's case, I think he played that perfectly. He said that he learned when with the Rantanen stuff, it's not happening tonight, so he went to bed.
Yeah.
Smart move. Now,
Agreed.
does he trust that source?
I will say, Elliot was writing after like being awake for like 21 hours straight.
That's what I was gonna
we were at the PWHL game. And Elliot dropped a bombshell article that was like, yeah, Marner almost got traded.
That's what I was gonna say.
like,
Even
damn.
I feel like he may have slept for 3 hours, but the work he was doing much higher stakes than the Rauer hour.
I bet
Yes.
Elliot's sleep is productive too. Like I bet that guy cooks. in his
He's
sleep.
like he listens to Spanish lessons while he sleeps, so he can wake up knowing a little bit of Spanish.
Always
French or
productive.
something.
Thank you to everybody for checking out this show. If you are watching for the first time or whatever, make sure you are subscribed everywhere. I want you subscribed on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, certainly on YouTube, and follow us on our socials because we have a big announcement coming tomorrow. A big international announcement coming tomorrow.
Teasing it today, coming tomorrow. We're gooning to end the show. We got a super chat from the Love of Your Life. Says, how does Osama bin Depaz factor into the Sabres fall? We'll discuss all that and more tomorrow.
That's a real knowers know.
That's right.
Join the
Cliffhanger.
Discord.
Bye.
We all silly like the mayor.